Hello, my friends. Hey, this is Rosa. Hopefully, your favorite real estate broker. Yes, we got to have fun with that. What we're here to talk about today, and hopefully, you have a few minutes, even if you're at work, maybe you can listen in a little bit, because what I want to go over with you are home buyer mistakes to avoid. Now, you might be like, hey, Rob, I already have a home. I don't have to worry about that. Yes, maybe you have a home, but is that the home that you have been dreaming of? Is that the vision of the home that you want to live in for the rest of your life? And I could probably bet for a lot of you, it's not the home that you have imagined to be living in and entertaining and having Thanksgiving dinner and having fun with your family and friends every step of the way. So even if you're not thinking about buying right now, even if you bought before and you might think you already know everything about buying a house. Hey, Rob, you know what? I've done it before, right? Okay. So that still means that you might be able to get some tips, get some help, right? So that when the time comes, or maybe if it's someone that you care about, right? When their time comes, we want your home, the people you care about, we want their home to be a blessing to them, right? And so I want to let you know, first off, if you have any questions, you have any comments as we're going through this, you're more than welcome to let me know. Reach out to me. But we want your home to be a blessing. We want you to be able to protect yourself when you're buying a home, look out for mistakes, and be able to help out every step of the way. So let's talk a little bit about some of these home buying questions. Let's talk about some of these home buying mistakes that you can avoid. And please feel free to share this, right? Please feel free to reach out and tell other people, hey, Rob Rose is online. You might want to take a look at this. Or, of course, likes and, of course, um, being able to watch this and give me comments and questions and interaction, that's even better. So here's one of the biggest mistakes, or here's one of the things that I want to ask you, I want to encourage you to look out for, right? And the first thing that we're going to say to look out for is before or when you think that you are ready to buy a home. First of all, please make sure that you have an emergency fund. Okay. Oh, what do you mean, Rob? I got to save up some money to buy a house. Well, in order to avoid problems, in order to avoid stress, right, things are going to come up on that home. So usually the experts will tell you, right, that you want to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, okay, worth of emergency funds, so that God forbid something happens, there's some kind of huge problem that comes up with the home or with your personal life, you are still going to be able to take care of your necessities. So number one, I would tell you, would be to make sure that you have some emergency funds available. Right now, that is really, really important. Okay. Next, let's talk about mortgages. And when it comes to mortgages, and this plays a big part of things, right? First of all, you can see here I do credit repair, right? Help people out with that. You want to be able to get the best mortgage possible and the right mortgage for you. Okay. So let's put it bluntly. Let's put it right out there. Right now, mortgages are not really great. Who loves mortgages? Right? Maybe our parents or grandparents, if they owned homes, they might have paid for it and already have it paid off. They might have even bought it in cash. Maybe your grandparents, if they had that opportunity, right? And what's happening in the marketplace is that mortgages and the mortgage products are getting a little bit more and more and more complicated, right? And there's more, and some of the reasons for that is because there are more options available, right? You might have adjustable rate mortgages, which are called ARMs. We have FHA mortgages. We have VA mortgages. We have USDA mortgages. We have grant programs that we can layer. We have equity buildup, down payment assistance. There's so many types of mortgages. And, lenders basically, they will use these mortgages to get you into a home for as little as possible so that you feel, right, like you're getting a great deal. Like, oh man, I bought this house, no money down. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world to do. It's still better than renting. However, having that emergency fund, having some money saved up for yourself in the long run, and maybe getting, a 30-year fixed mortgage might not be the worst thing in the world, but you need to have things prepared, almost like your, so forth, like your credit, so that you are able to pay that mortgage off as quick as possible. You see, you don't want to be that person that you paid off 12 years of a mortgage and now you're refinanced. You took out that mortgage, you paid off some credit cards. Oh, that sounds like a good idea, Rob, because the interest rates on credit cards are so much higher. So let me refinance, take it out of my house, right? And then come to find out, you got to pay another 30 years. And come to find out, you rack up those credit cards again on a second time. And where does that put you? That puts you really, really, really behind the eight ball. So even if you need help with some of those things, you need to talk, you need to run some ideas by me, I will be available to help you, my friends. I am here for you in order to be able to do that. Okay. When we talk a little bit about credit, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people think you need a certain credit score in order to buy a home. And you know what? You really don't necessarily. There is a process called manual underwriting. But remember, when we do manual underwriting, when a mortgage company does that, they look at your income, they look at your net worth, and they look at your down payment, right? And bill paying ability. So even if you had a low credit score, you can still buy a home, but right, depending on your credit score, might depend on what programs you'll be available for. If it's going to have to be some sort of a custom mortgage based on your financial situation. You see, we can do all kinds of different things. All right. So I just want you to know that that's available out there. Don't think that you need to get your, just be at that one particular point and there's nothing else you can do. We have a lot of different opportunities for you. All right. The next opportunity for you is, if you are getting a mortgage, well, how are you buying it? And do you have a pre-approval? You see, or do you have a pre-qual letter? A lot of times, especially being a seller's agent for the most cases, I'm out here talking with sellers for the most part and showing them our excellent, incredible marketing plan, right? And all the custom marketing plan and all the wonderful things that I do in order to get your property sold. Right. So that's what I'm really out there on a daily basis doing. But then we have those same people who need to buy another home, right? Or even first time home buyers who are not sure what to do. Well, you see, one of the things that I do is I put them in a program where we get a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. In fact, one of the programs we have is called a Buyer Advantage program, right? Where we're going to have all the documentation set and ready. We're going to have a lot of the work done so that when we go make an offer on another house, that other seller is going to be like, oh my gosh, this person is actually giving a letter that says that we will make our closing date. Otherwise, the lender is going to pay them $10,000. That's how much of a guarantee we will have in order for you to close on time. And that's, of course, a particular program for a buyer that has to have everything on point. If it's something that you want to talk about, our Buyer Advantage program, right? That's out there for you every step of the way. And that's usually one of the first steps, is to get the whole financing straight. If you're going to buy in cash, that's great. Let's see the proof of funds, right? Let's see the brokerage statement. Let's see the checking account statement. Let's see where you're going to have this money available. Okay. But then if you're going to get a mortgage, well, let's see if we can do the Buyer Advantage program to give you an edge on what other buyers are doing. Because if you're going to show up to try to buy a house that you love, that you're all excited about, and you haven't even spoken to a lender yet, or maybe you have spoken to a lender, but you got a pre-qual letter that says it's very loosey goosey. It says, oh well, it's dependent upon reviewing of this person's credit. It depends upon reviewing this person's pay stubs. It depends upon reviewing this person's um, financial abilities and their proof of funds. Then that's not going to get you very far. So when you are in this market and you're showing up with that, that's a big mistake, because all you're doing is getting your hopes up high. And this is what I explain to my buyers. I don't want to get your hopes up high and then end up with zero, right? We want to get your hopes up to the point where they need to be excited, to be motivated, to move forward, and then have all the other things in place of what we need to do. So that might be something we need to look at. Okay. Now, here's an interesting thing. Oh, Rob, I knew you were going to say something like this because you are a real estate agent. Yeah, I've been a real estate agent, been a real estate broker over 20 years. And one of the mistakes that I see is that people kind of think they can just do it on their own without a professional, right? It's one of those things like, I know how to raise my kids. Don't tell me how to raise my kids. I know how much my house is worth. I know how to sell a house. I know how to buy a house because I did it before. Well, that's not always the case, because you see a professional like myself, a professional real estate agent, they're going to do a lot to help you, to support you. You know, some of the information that you might need, like inside information about the local neighborhood, about the market, maybe looking for homes on some databases that you can access. You see, as a regular consumer, you might think you're on the MLS when you're on some of these other sites. Okay, but you're not. You really can only get the full access of the multiple listing service when you are a licensed real estate agent. And then even helping you make an offer, because you see, in today's world, when you're going up against those 7 other offers, and I can promise you, no matter what you hear on the national news and this baloney and that baloney, oh well, I heard things are slowing down. Yeah, things are slowing down. Okay, come over here to Harford County and try to buy a nice home for $350,000, or for 300, or for 275, or for 375, or for 450, because you are going up against 3, 5, 7, 9 offers or more if the house is at that condition, is at that price level. All right. So helping you make that offer is a huge importance to you. That's what's going to help you get that creative offer. That's what's going to help you get it signed, so that you can get to the next step and hit that vision of the beautiful home that you want. Right. Negotiating. Now, it might not be negotiating on price at this moment. It might be negotiating on other terms. What happened during the inspection? What happened during the appraisal? How can we get this going smoother and easier, and so forth? Because, right now, you will get all those benefits of a real estate agent, and you will more than make up for if you had to spend any money as a buyer. And in many cases, you're not necessarily spending any money as a buyer. All right. So here is another home buyer mistake to avoid: choosing style over structure. Oh man, Rob, I just hate capes. I won't even look at a cape. I just hate ranches. I won't even look at a ranch. Okay, so first of all, I hate to say it, but I'm transparent. I'm straightforward, right? I am giving you the information that you might not always want to hear. Beggars can't be choosers. Right now, buyers cannot be so choosy where, right, you know what? Right now, there's one house on the market for you and you don't like it. And so what are you going to do from there? You're going to wait. Now, an agent like myself, if you're my client and my team, the Rob Rosa team, we will actually go out, and we're out there trying to drum up homes for you. We're making phone calls. We're walking neighborhoods. We're sending out letters. Okay. And so that's going to be the value to you. But, let's say choosing style over structure. Don't let some of these minor cosmetic issues, right, steer you away from a good house. That is a rookie home buying mistake. Your new home may not look exactly how you imagined it, but you know what? The bulk of it, that big rock, Stephen Covey, highly effective people, that big rock, the bulk of it will be there. And then you can make it your own. You can turn it into that vision, right? So you might have to kind of ignore some small defects, right? And focus on what really matters. For example, if it's ugly paint, if it's old carpet, like I see people, oh, it has carpet in the bedroom, forget it, never mind, let's look at another house. I mean, this house has 85, 95% of everything you want. You can rip out a carpet and put a new one in. That is a pretty simple thing to do. You walk up from the curb to the home, and the landscaping doesn't look that great. The front door needs to be painted, right? What are some other things? A lighting fixture in the bathroom needs to be replaced. You know what? Those are things that are fairly inexpensive to replace. So when it comes down to it, who really cares about those things? Are you just making up excuses for yourself? Are you maybe not thinking straight? Look at the big bones, at the structure. But of course, we need to watch out for things that are difficult, or maybe even, I hate to use this word, right? Maybe even impossible to fix. Of course, we need to look out for those things, right? We don't want you in a worse situation in 1, 3, 5 years than you are today. We want you to be much, much better off. So we are going to look at and have experts look at, if you decide to hire these experts, look at the roof, look at the foundation, look at the plumbing, look at the electrical, right? Those are look at the structure, the wood, the joists, the sills, right? The soffits, right? We don't want to waste money. We don't want you to waste money. At least I don't, on bad bones. I'm not trying to just get a closing off of you, right? That's not what it's for me. I'm probably going to be doing this. I don't know. 2023, it's probably going to be another 20 more years because I love it. I enjoy it. This is my golf. So even if I was able to retire in 1, 3, 5 years, I'm probably going to still be out here showing homes to people, showing them how to sell their homes, market homes to the best of the ability that's out there with all the different programs that I have available. And I want to make sure that people don't get stuck with huge structural important renovations that they will not be able to afford. All right. So that's pretty darn important. That could be a home buyer mistake. And sometimes people make it even on their second home because they get so caught up on it. All right. Well, let's talk about the next thing. Homes resale value. Oh my gosh. Rob, you're telling me that I'm going to go out there and buy this new home. Why do I have to think about the resale value? Why is that even important to me right now? Well, the whole point is that, so even if you think, right, if you believe that you are going to stay for a while in that home, well, we know that circumstances change, right? We know that for a fact. And so we want you to be prepared for these circumstances. We don't want it to be an issue where, if God forbid something happens, that you need to sell right away, or that something has changed for you. We want you to be in a situation where you are going to be able to sell without a problem. Okay. So here are some points that I have written down here that I think will help you choose a home that will grow in value. Okay. So, number one, you kind of need, and you've probably heard this before, you need to buy in the bottom price range of a neighborhood, right? Those are the homes that are going to be more likely worth more, and in the future and sell faster and get your value quick enough, right? You don't want to buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood, right? We know that that doesn't make sense in order to do that. So that might be something you want to look at, something you want to think about. Okay. How about buying a home with a good floor plan that's attractive from the street? You see, we know that curb appeal matters. We can pull out disgusting carpets, right? We can replace that ugly velvet floral wallpaper. Now, some of that wallpaper these days is pretty cool and people are loving it, right? But there's really not much you can do about a terrible floor plan with a home that looks really weird from the street and just doesn't make sense. Okay. So that's pretty important for resale value. Also, do you know what developments are planned for the area? And that is a good real estate agent that's going to be able to help you with that. So, like, you might buy a home and be thinking, oh, this is great. I have plenty of privacy. I told my agent I want privacy and he couldn't find it for me. So I went out, I found this house on my own because I have the internet and I could do whatever I want with the internet, right? So I found this home and I put an offer in, and guess what? Well, you know what? Maybe that city or town, maybe they're adding water lines. Maybe they're adding sewer lines. Maybe they're adding gas lines. Maybe they're planning on cutting a highway through the backyard over that area, a couple acres down, right? Maybe they're putting a new trash dump, right? Maybe they're putting a shooting range. Will that affect your home value, resale value in 1, 3, 5, 7 years? Of course it will, right? So you see, that's a huge opportunity that you have when you're working with a real estate agent to find out, hey, do you know anything? Can you find out anything about this area, right? What is it that we can do in order to be on the lookout for it? All right. Okay. Next home buy mistake to avoid with help from Rosa. All right. Taking on credit while closing. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Are you going to go to Raymore and Flanagan for 4th of July weekend, knowing that you're going to have the closing that next Friday and open up a $9,000 credit line so that you can get your new living room set, or maybe your new dining room set, or maybe your huge new bedroom set? Is that what you want to do? Because I would tell you, right? Number one, taking on that extra debt, especially during the closing, is a big mistake. It might end up making the whole transaction fall apart. That's first off, right? Secondly, what does it do? It gives you more financial stress. You might not even be prepared for this 100% mentally and financially for this new payment, this mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. You might not be prepared for it, and you're going to take on another $300, $400, $500 bill. Or, hey, I'm sorry, Rob. I had one buyer tell me, he pulled up in a Maserati. Now, this guy's buying a $350,000 home. He makes enough money to buy a $350,000 home. And he makes a little bit more than that. But, we kept it on the down low so that he feels comfortable. And he was driving like an older Nissan. And, it was something that I would drive. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. And then he shows up at the last showing in a Maserati. No, I apologize. Alfa Romeo, right? Alfa Romeo. He shows up. And I'm like, dude, bought a new Alfa Romeo? Hey, I needed a car. I need to be able to I got kids and I need to be able to get back and forth to work. I said, wow, man, that thing is beautiful. I said, by the way, how much is that? Oh, they gave me a good deal, man. Regular 84,000. I got it for 77. 77 what? $77,000. $77,000. How much is your payment? Oh, like $599 a month. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Right now, we should not even go and look at this house because I'm not 1000% sure that you can afford this house any longer with your new debt to income ratio. Well, what do you mean? I don't see the big deal. I have plenty of money, but you just got a new $600 a month payment. And you see, those are the things that affect you, that will affect your debt to income, which could affect the entire program. So those are the things we need to look out for. Don't open up any new credit, and don't close any credit lines thinking that you're doing the right thing, because ultimately now you have less credit available, right? And what does that do? That will decrease your score in many cases. So don't open anything new. Don't close anything new once we start the buyer process. So we had Josephat. Hey, thank you so much. Who had a question? Hey, the bank offers programs for second mortgages with low down payments because I have an FHA loan now. Yeah, there's all kinds of different programs available. If you need help, reach out to me. Text me 860-558-2122. Call me up 860-558-2122. Go to my website, smartreadvice.com, and I can put you in touch. If I can't answer your specific question about the different loan programs that you're looking for, then I can put you in touch with the right person, all right, with the person who can do that. Okay. So that's pretty important to make sure that you are working on, and that you're on every step of the way. Being prepared for those costs, right, and not taking on new financials. How about, are you prepared for ongoing home ownership costs? I'm talking about in 3 months from today. Like, believe it or not, it's kind of crazy. In 3 months, it's going to be September. And then in another 3 months, it's going to be December. And here we are with the winter and the ice and the sludge and the snow, right? And who knows if you don't have let's say, your gutters cleaned out, and then water is sitting in there. And then when it freezes, it goes back up into the house, right? And then you have all kinds of stains. Maybe you have water damage. Are you going to be prepared for that ongoing maintenance, repairs, home ownership costs? You need to get mentally and financially prepared for that, right? Maybe you need to be prepared. With some of these mayors of Connecticut, they might not like this, but you need to be prepared for property taxes going up, because it seems like our taxes just keep going up and up and up. We need to be prepared for increases in insurance. You see, so you might say, but yes, I have a 30-year fixed mortgage. Well, remember, there's 4 points to that mortgage payment: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Principal and interest, if you have, like, for instance, a 15-year or a 30-year fixed mortgage, that principal and interest is supposed to stay the same. That's it. But what happens every year? Almost every year, taxes go up, insurance goes up. Taxes go up, insurance goes up. Okay. I don't see those things going down. There was a couple years, thank God, in the town I live in, that in Harford County, that it stayed about the same, but they're going up. Okay. So we have to remember that these expenses, although they're part of our mortgage, they can change, they can go up. Maintenance has to be taken care of. And that is why I really, really encourage you to have that emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of your typical expenses. When you're buying a house, have that available. If you don't, I don't want to discourage you from buying a home, from buying a new home. But you know what? If you're living in a home right now, you're thinking about selling, let's get that house on the market. We'll get the equity that's in there right now. You can take part of it. Now you have an emergency fund. And I'm going to look at you in the eye, and I might even shake your hand and be like, hey, promise me that you're going to keep this aside for an emergency for you and your family, not to just spend, right? Put that aside. And then we'll probably also have money when you sell that home, right? Well, because the market's been going up. right, will also have money to be able to get you a pretty good down payment on a new home. So in case, like, God forbid, a water heater busts, right, or an electrical outlet goes out, you will be prepared. All right. So you see, this is the smart way to buy a home. The things that we're talking about, avoiding these biggest home buyer mistakes. They're going to save you thousands of dollars, thousands of headaches. And that's what I'm here for you to try to avoid that. Does it always happen 1000%? No, things come up. There are things that, maybe, that were overlooked, or that just kind of happened because that's life, the way life goes. But you see, it's not about luck. It's about making the best decisions, right? Easy for you to say. So that when you buy a home the smart way, you will have less problems, right? These are the secrets to home buying success. These are the secrets that when you work with a top notch real estate agent like myself, Rob Rosa, or someone from my team, that we are going to be a high performer for you. We're going to save you time. We're going to save you money. We're going to try our best to keep you out of as much problems as possible. So, anyways, my friends, that's everything I have for you today. I hope you had a great time. I hope you learned a lot. This was Rob Rosa, hopefully your favorite real estate broker, signing out, my friends. Have an awesome day. The weekend's coming. Enjoy it, and God bless you.